Okay, Leyton Orient Man City in the FA Cup fourth round. Two interesting fun facts before we dive into the match review. It's the first meeting between the two sides since an old second division clash in 1966, which was a 2-all draw. And it's the first match that Leyton Orient have played against the top flight champions from the season before since an FA Cup tie against Arsenal in 1972. So there's the fun facts of the video. Leyton Orient took an early lead and were deserved leaders at half time. It was 1-0 at half time. Man City from the get go looked very nervy and disjointed defensively. And when they did get the ball, and they did create chances, so I'm not saying Man City were absolutely hopeless in the first half, they did create chances, but a lot of their possession was in front of a very organised, well drilled Leyton Orient side who defended very well and defended in units, put a lot of pressure on the player in possession. There was not a lot of movement off the ball by Man City. Now, yes, they kept De Bruyne and Foden, for example, on the bench, and that is their prerogative. They've obviously got the Real Madrid first leg next week, but in the Champions League. But I would, you could definitely see the players are not confident. The squad's not confident. Playing players out of position. I don't understand why Grealish is still being played out far left. He's less effective out there. He had an early chance off target, but he's less effective out on the far left. He's better in the middle. And they played Marmoush down the middle. Now, I don't know a lot about Marmoush, but looking at him, he looks more of a winger and a wider play. He's got a lot of pace and he's got good feet. But he's obviously also, he's just coming to the side, but he's also playing out of position, which negates any strengths these players have if they're being shoehorned into a system that doesn't suit their best abilities. And it was very, very clear that defensively you could definitely see there was a lack of communication, there was some nerviness. And Leyton Orient were here to play as well. They were fully set up to spend lengthy periods without the ball. They were very, very well organised. They kept their shape. They didn't allow Man City to pull them about, but Man City were doing everything a little bit too slowly and too cautiously. And then in defence, Man City were also a little bit standoff. They didn't pressurise the player in possession, and they were very vulnerable to runs in the back and runs down the channels. But it's actually a audacious halfway lob by Jamie Donnelly, which goes down as an Ortega own goal because it bounces off the bar onto his back. But Jamie Donnelly, on loan from Spurs, on 16 minutes, just that is a fantastic effort. And they've obviously studied Ortega coming off his line. In fact, any Man City keeper will be quite high. With the defensive line that Man City have as well, playing quite high, they've obviously studied that. And that is an audacious but deliberate attempt to lob the keeper. It's a fantastic shot. And you're thinking, if when that goes in, Man City could be in trouble here. And they made hard work of it. As the first half wore on, they did create some more chances, but again, there's not a lot of movement off the ball, and they did look vulnerable when they did turn the ball over for runs in behind in the channels. They were looking very nervy defensively. They weren't picking up runners off the ball, and also they struggled from set plays defending them. It's very, very obvious there's not a lot of communication in that defence. Now, yes, there's been a lot of changes in that defence. They do bring John Stones on in the second half, but you could see there wasn't anyone taking charge of that defence, be it the goalkeeper or one of the centre backs trying to organise things. There was clearly a lack of communication and organisation, and it was very, very obvious that they were very, very nervy defensively and unsure of themselves defensively. Now, Man City obviously do win the game. They win 2-1, but you could see that they were laboured in their victory, and there's a lack of confidence with this Manchester City side. I don't think the weather and the heavy pitch helped the Man City style of play. There's been a lot of rain this winter and a lot of snow as well, but there's been a lot of bad weather this winter, and you can see Brisbane Road. It was a bit of a muddy pitch, not the worst pitch we've seen for a lower league side. They have improved their playing surface at Brisbane Road for have Leyton Orient, but you could see that was also impacting Man City's style of play. A lot of misplaced passes, a lot of passes that just didn't pan out. Bad decision making as well. A very unconfident Man City side. Now it's 1-0 at half time, and clearly Pep's brought on the changes, hasn't he? He's freshened things up a little bit. Bernardo Silva comes on, De Bruyne comes on later on in the second half, John Stones, Foden. But it makes me wonder why. I understand the Real Madrid Champions League first leg coming up, but why not start with these players if they're fully fit and in good and need a bit of confidence? A game like this, get them started, get confident in that first half. Have those senior players around some of these younger players and new players that have come in to build some confidence. It nearly backfired, but he brings them on. Now, Rico Lewis has a shot that is deflected in by Kusanov, I think is how you pronounce his name, on 56 minutes. The Leyton Orient players think there's a handball in there, but there's no VAR in the fourth round. There wouldn't be any VAR anyway under the previous rule set at a lower league club. It isn't a Premier League club. There was a lot of these snapshots from distance, and Keeley, the keeper, is basically standing on his head. He's been a key component about why this Leyton Orient side are playing very, very well and had a very good cup run. He's been a cup hero so far, by A, scoring a goal, and B, saving penalties and shootouts. But Rico Lewis, it's a nothing shot. It's a snapshot. It's a shot from distance. It deflects off Kusanov, the new signing, and it goes in the net. Wrong foot to the keeper, but you can see the Leyton Orient players think there may have been an arm or a hand in there. It looks like it's come off the back of his head or shoulder and deflected in. And then you're thinking, okay, Orient, it's still 1-1, they're still in the game, and they are still creating problems going the other way. You can clearly see Man City are also continuing with their high line, and they did look a little bit vulnerable with balls in behind, balls in wide areas. Also, set plays, they didn't look confident either. The De Bruyne goal is the best bit of play Man City have produced in this game, because that's when you've got a midfielder running from deep, which they weren't doing before De Bruyne comes on. There was no runs in from deep from someone in the midfield, from Gundogan or Bernardo Silva when he came on. They weren't running from deep and giving the player in possession an option to play a ball in behind. There was too much in front of the Orient defence. De Bruyne runs in behind, and it's a very, very cheeky little finish over Keeley, the keeper. And you could argue that was Man City's best bit of play, was the De Bruyne goal on 78 minutes. But even then, there was still moments where Orient could have equalised, and again, Man City really didn't look comfortable from throw-ins and corners. They really struggled, and free kicks for that matter, struggled defending set plays in their final third. They looked very nervy. There was a few chances for Orient. Ortega's had to make some good saves, but he looked nervy at times in distribution, and a bit unsure with the defensive line in front of him. That communication just doesn't seem to be there. That confidence in the system doesn't seem to be there. Whereas in previous seasons, when a player is injured or suspended for City, another player comes in and takes that step up as a squad player. They seem to have had more confidence in the system that they've got going. There seems to be a massive lack of confidence for whatever reason with this Man City side. And you cannot say just having Rodri out of the team is the main reason why Man City over the last couple of months have had average form at best. This is the most games they've lost under Guardiola in a season ever. And I'm finding it difficult to see this Man City side winning any trophies this season. But we don't know what they're going to do against Real Madrid. We don't know what they're going to do in the fifth round of the FA Cup. And if the FA Cup could be a gateway for them to get another chance at silverware. They have a great record of reaching semi-finals at a minimum 6 straight seasons under Guardiola. They've only won it twice, however, under Guardiola, which I find a bit surprising, if I'm being honest. So overall, I think Orient can be very, very proud of their effort in the game. They obviously had to be more defensive than they would normally be. They would have to spend more time without the ball than they normally would in a League One game. But they are a very, very good attacking side. They look a very competent side. And I think they will be in a playoff hunt from League One. And they're aiming to get into the Championship. They look a very, very competent, confident side. They use the loan system very, very well. Their full-time players there as well look very confident and competent on the ball. There's a lot of energy about the side. They're well drilled. Man City just look all over the place at the moment. And while they made hard work of this win, they are through, but they weren't setting the world on fire. This isn't, Man City of previous seasons where when they face lower league opposition, they hammer them 6 or 7. This was a very, very nervy, unconvincing win by Manchester City, and they were pushed all the way. I think it's lucky they didn't go to extra time, because if Leyton Orient get an equaliser towards the end and it goes to extra time, I had concerns about Man City with how their confidence is. They scrape over the line, but not convincing. But anyway, that's enough from me. Thank you very much for watching. Place your thoughts on the Orient City game in the comments section below. It's not often that I get to do a video on Leyton Orient. I only done the one video previously on Leyton Orient, which is their club history. Man City, let's see what they can produce in the next round, and let's see what they produce against Real Madrid and in the league, because their form over the last few months is troublesome. They are not the Man City we are used to seeing for the last 6-7 seasons. They are looking very, very out of sorts, disjointed and lacking in confidence. But there we go. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll have some more content for you guys and girls very, very soon.